6 people who were buried alive. Story number 1. A 19-year-old boy named Angelo Hayes died in a motorcycle crash in 1937 in France. Angelo was thrown from his motorcycle into a brick wall headfirst. He was pronounced dead on the scene and buried soon after. A suspicious insurance agent visited the Hayes' household to talk about the policy Hayes' father had taken out on his son before the claim could pay the family. Strangely, the teenager's grave was exhumed 2 days after his burial. Miraculously, Angelo was alive. He slipped into a coma when he crashed and was believed to be dead. While buried alive in a coma, his body required less oxygen and underwent much less stress, so Angelo Hayes was able to survive the ordeal. After rehabilitation, he lived to tell the tale of life after being buried alive. He became a celebrity throughout France and invented a security coffin fitted with a radio transmitter, food locker, books, and a toilet, just in case anyone found themselves in this same predicament. Story number 2. In 2015, Natalia Pasternak and a friend were walking in the woods of Siberia when they were attacked by a bear. They both fought back, but the giant bear got the best of Natalia, mauling her and knocking her unconscious. Her friend ran to get help and managed to flag down a police car. The bear, thinking she was dead, buried Pasternak with leaves and dirt. Bears do this to protect their kill from scavengers, and the bear likely planned to return and eat her later. Luckily, she was found before that happened. The bear was killed, and Pasternak went through a long recovery process. The attack gave her a new lease on life. She captioned a pic on social media, "How beautiful life is." Story number 3. British magician Anthony Britton was hoping to pull off an amazing feat like the great Harry Houdini, but instead almost died after being buried alive. Anthony wore handcuffs and was buried under loose dirt, with the intent of freeing himself from the handcuffs and then the 6-foot grave. Although he spent 14 months preparing for the stunt, Britton wasn't prepared for the actual weight of the dirt, nor the fact that his arm would become trapped. So as time ticked by, his crew became alarmed and quickly started digging to reach the magician. "I almost died," he said. "I was just seconds away from death. It was scary. The pressure of the soil was crushing around me. Even when I found an air pocket, when I exhaled, the soil around me was crushing me even more. I could feel myself losing consciousness and there was nothing I could do about it. I was pretty much dying," Britton said. Story number 4. A woman was visiting her family plot in 2013 in a small town in Brazil when she saw a man clawing his way out of a grave. His head and hands were free, but he was struggling to pull himself out. The woman brought rescue workers to free him. The man turned out to be an employee at City Hall. He has no memory of being buried alive, though authorities said he was badly beaten before being buried. The theory is, the man's attackers, believing him to be dead, buried him in the cemetery to get rid of his body. Story number 5. In 1968, Mike Meany set out to break the world record for entombment, which was 45 days, set by American digger Odell. Mike allowed himself to be buried in a coffin with holes for air, access to food and water, and a telephone. He talked to boxer Joe Louis while he was underground. After 61 days, Meany emerged weakened but in good health otherwise, sporting sunglasses as the coffin lid was pulled away. Story number 6. There were many sick and dying among the Irish during the potato famine of 1845 to 1852. Tom Guerin was mistaken for dead and was buried in a mass grave. There are various reports of what actually happened to him, One account states that when the gravedigger hit his legs with a spade, he cried out. Although the boy survived, he was handicapped for the rest of his life. Tom struggled financially as an adult but was a cheerful person and something of a poet. He even wrote a poem to the Irish government asking for new shoes.